Yo, Drake is done. I'm talking completely, utterly finished in a way nobody saw coming. And listen, I know you're thinking, oh, another Drake L story. But nah, this one hits different. This is personal. This is betrayal on a level that's got the entire internet in absolute shambles right now. Drake's biggest supporter, and I mean his biggest glazer, the man who literally threatened people's lives for him, just flipped sides and is now posting Kendrick Lamar. Let that sink in. Not just posting Kendrick casually either. He's sharing Not Like Us, calling Drake a PDF file, and burning that bridge so completely there's not even ashes left. Top 5. Drake's alleged shooter. The man Drake helped get out of prison. The same dude who spent the last year and a half making his entire identity about defending Drake just became Drake's newest op. And honestly, the way this went down is absolutely insane. Now, everybody thought they knew the story with Drake and loyalty, right? Drake's been out here for months. Actually, let's be real, for over a year now, telling everyone in the industry to pick a side. You're either with him or you're against him. Simple. LeBron James goes to Kendrick's concert, Drake cuts him off. Rappers stay neutral, Drake's team starts unfollowing. Athletes post anything remotely supportive of Kendrick, they're on the blacklist. Drake turned this whole beef into a you're either riding with OVO or you're the enemy situation. Zero middle ground, zero exceptions. That was the narrative everyone knew. Drake demands loyalty above everything else. He'll help you out, put you on, support your career, but the second you show love to his rivals, it's a wrap. That relationship is over. But here's where the whole story flips completely upside down. Because Drake just got hit with his own medicine, and it's the most poetic justice I've seen in hip-hop this entire year. The man who weaponized loyalty just got exposed as the biggest hypocrite in the game. And the proof? It's all planned out in real time on social media right now. Let me break down exactly what happened, because this is where it gets absolutely diabolical. Top 5, for anyone who doesn't know, has been Drake's most vocal supporter throughout this entire Kendrick beef. We're talking about a man who made videos threatening to harm Kendrick. Not subliminal disses, not clever bars, actual threats. While he was already dealing with legal issues, by the way. This man was out here catching cases and still taking penitentiary chances for Drake's honor. He's been on interviews, on Instagram Live, everywhere, screaming about how Drake is Toronto's king, how anyone who disrespects Drake is getting dealt with. He built his entire online presence around being Drake's shooter. That was his whole thing. His claim to fame became, I'm Drake's guy. I'm connected to the streets through Drake. And Drake used that connection. Drake paid for Top 5's lawyer when he was locked up, helped him get out of prison. They had this whole relationship where they benefited from each other. Drake got street credibility, Top 5 got clout and support. Now here's the crucial context. Top 5 has been in a nasty beef with another Toronto artist named Pressa. And when I say nasty, I mean these guys are throwing gang signs with K at the end. That means killer. They're saying each other's sets with K attached. This isn't rap beef, this is real street beef with real consequences. Pressa, by the way, is also Drake's guy. Drake brought Pressa on his European tour back in 2017. They've had a relationship for years. Pressa's been in the trenches too. He's faced serious charges. He's really from that life. So Drake has connections to both of these guys who are now at war with each other. Top 5 and Pressa's beef has been going on for a while. Something about money, loyalty, all that street stuff. Top 5's been making videos, calling Pressa a snitch, doing interviews, dragging his name. It's been ugly. And through all of this, Drake's been staying neutral, not really picking sides publicly. Until this weekend. Pressa dropped a new album, and Drake, being Drake, decided to support his homie. Posted Pressa's album on his Instagram story. New Machine out now. Gave him that Drake cosign, which in the music industry is huge. That's the kind of support that can boost streams, get you on playlists, change your whole trajectory. Pressa was hyped. He responded back for life, Big Croy. Wholesome moment, right? Drake supporting an artist from his city, that's what he's supposed to do. But there's one person who was not happy about this post. And this is where Drake's hypocrisy gets exposed in the most brutal way possible. Now let's talk about the motive here, because this is where everything starts clicking and making perfect sense. Think about what Drake has been doing for the past year. He made loyalty his entire brand during this Kendrick beef. He told the whole industry, if you support Kendrick, we can't be cool. That was the rule he created. LeBron James, someone who's been Drake's friend for years, someone who's been in Drake's music videos, someone who Drake has courtside seats with, LeBron went to Kendrick's concert in Los Angeles, just went to a show in his home city. He's the face of the Lakers, Kendrick's from LA. It makes sense, right? But Drake took that as the ultimate betrayal. The whole OVO camp was in their feelings about it. Social media went crazy. People were debating whether LeBron was wrong for going. Now, compare that to what Drake just did. Top 5 has been out here for a year and a half, actually probably longer, making his entire identity about being Drake's supporter. He's threatened people, he's called people out, he's gotten into legal trouble partially because he's been so loud about defending Drake online. He's burned bridges, he's made enemies, all in Drake's name. And his biggest enemy right now is Pressa. These two have real beef, not entertainment beef, real street stuff where people have gotten hurt, where there are real consequences, where saying the wrong thing or being in the wrong place could lead to actual violence. So imagine your top 5. Put yourself in his shoes. You've gone this hard for Drake. You've literally risked your freedom because remember, he just got out of jail and is still dealing with the courts, threatening people on Drake's behalf. You've attached yourself to Drake so much that your reputation is completely tied to that loyalty. And then you see Drake post your biggest enemy, the one person in Toronto you're actively beefing with, the person you've been making diss videos about, the person whose name you can't even say without disrespecting. That's not just a casual cosign. That's Drake telling the entire city of Toronto, yeah, I'm cool with both of y'all. I'm playing both sides. But here's the thing. When you're Drake and you made loyalty the ultimate test, and you cut off people for way less than this, you can't play both sides. You set the rules. You told everyone, pick a side or lose me. Top 5 is sitting there watching Drake post Pressa, and it hits him. Wait, I can't be cool with anyone who supports Kendrick, but Drake can be cool with my literal enemy? The man I have street beef with? The man whose name I say with K at the end? That kind of hypocrisy hits different. Because let's keep it real, what Top 5 did for Drake is way more serious than what LeBron did. LeBron went to a concert. Top 5 threatened lives. LeBron danced at a show. Top 5 burned every other bridge he had. LeBron is a neutral public figure. Top 5 made being Drake's guy his whole personality. And Drake couldn't even stay loyal back. Couldn't even respect the street beef Top 5 is in. Couldn't even think, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't publicly post the one guy my shooter hates most right now. But here's the part that really makes this situation crazy from a human perspective. Top 5 made a mistake that a lot of people make when they attach themselves to celebrities or powerful people. He thought the loyalty went both ways. He put all his eggs in one basket. He tied his entire reputation, his entire brand, his entire identity to being Drake's supporter. And when you do that, you give that person power over you. You become dependent on that relationship. Your value becomes tied to their approval. Think about how Top 5's been moving. Every interview he does, he's talking about Drake. Every Instagram post, he's defending Drake. Every beef he gets into, it's somehow connected to Drake. He's not building his own lane. He's building himself as an extension of Drake. And Drake benefits from this, right? Having someone like Top 5 in your corner makes you look connected to the streets. Makes you look like you got real ones who will actually do something if needed. It's an image thing. It's valuable to Drake's brand. But when it came time for Drake to show that same loyalty back, when it came time for Drake to respect Top 5's beef and not post his enemy, Drake chose Pressa. And that tells you everything about how Drake really views these relationships. Top 5 wasn't a friend. He was a useful asset. And the moment Drake needed to make a choice between Top 5's feelings and supporting another artist from Toronto, Drake picked the artist. Now, I'm not sitting here saying Top 5 is innocent. He made his own choices. He went too hard in a direction that was never going to be sustainable. He said things and did things that he can't take back now. He burned bridges that might have kept him stable when this Drake thing fell apart. But from a human level, you can understand the betrayal he's feeling. You can understand why he felt like he had no choice but to crash out completely. Because what else do you do in that situation? If you're Top 5 and you've spent all this time making yourself look like Drake's biggest supporter, and now your biggest enemy gets Drake's public support, you just lost your entire argument in your beef. Pressa's people are probably clowning Top 5 right now. The whole city is probably talking about how Drake chose Pressa over Top 5. In Top 5's mind, he had to do something equally explosive to reclaim some power in the situation. He couldn't just let it slide, because if he lets it slide, he looks weak. He looks like someone who will accept disrespect as long as it comes from Drake. So what does he do? He goes nuclear. This is where Top 5 did something so diabolical, so calculated, so perfectly designed to hurt Drake that even I was shocked. Top 5 could have ignored the post. He could have called Drake privately and expressed his frustration. He could have made a subtle post about loyalty without directly addressing it. There were so many ways he could have handled this, but Top 5 chose chaos. First, he posts a picture of Kendrick Lamar at the Grammys. Just Kendrick, with a caption. At first, people thought maybe he was trolling or being sarcastic, like maybe he's posting Kendrick to be funny or to prove a point about how ridiculous it is to switch sides. But then, pause for effect. He posted the part of Not Like Us where Kendrick calls Drake a PDF file. Let that sink in. The man who spent over a year defending Drake, the man who threatened violence against anyone who disrespected Drake, the man who made Drake's enemies his enemies, just posted Kendrick Lamar calling Drake a predator. That's not just switching sides. That's joining the other army and bringing all of Drake's secrets with you. That's turning your coat so visibly that everyone in the entire industry sees it. And the internet lost it. Hip-hop fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. Drake fans were in shambles. Kendrick fans were celebrating, making jokes about how even Drake's own people are turning on him. The memes started flying, the quotes started spreading. This became the story in hip-hop. Hit Boy's artist Hypocrisy, who's cool with Kendrick's camp, couldn't believe it. He posted about how Top 5 is switching sides and said, "Nah, stay on that side." Then he shared their DMs. And this is where you see Top 5's full switch happen in real time. In the messages, Hypocrisy says, "Oh, we homies now? All right, bet." Being funny about it like, "Oh, so now you want to be cool with us?" Top 5 responds, "My dog, what up?" Hypocrisy says, "What's happening, gang? You see how these people be? Stay true to you." And then Top 5 says something that's going to live in hip-hop history forever. "Man, that nail polish guy, a weirdo." The nail polish guy. That's Drake, the man he's been defending for years, the man he threatened people for, the man he went to jail partially because of how hard he was riding for. Now he's calling him a weirdo in DMs with Kendrick's camp. This is a complete, total, irreversible bridge burning. Now let's step back and analyze what this means. Drake created a loyalty test that he himself failed. That's the bottom line. For months, actually over a year now, Drake has been cutting people off for supporting Kendrick in any capacity. We've seen him unfollow people. We've seen his team make it clear that you can't be in both camps. We've seen him take personal offense to anyone showing Kendrick love. But when it came to his own situation, Drake did exactly what he punished other people for doing. He played both sides of a beef. He supported someone while knowing it would hurt someone else who's been loyal to him. And here's the wildest part. Drake's situation is actually worse than what LeBron did. LeBron went to a concert. That's it. He didn't post about it extensively. He didn't make a statement. He just attended a show in his home city by an artist he's known for years. That's pretty neutral behavior for a celebrity. Drake posted Pressa's album. He gave him a full Instagram story promotion. That's active support. That's a cosign. That's saying I'm backing this person's project. And the beef between Top 5 and Pressa has real stakes. These aren't just rappers going back and forth on songs. These are people with actual street ties where real consequences exist. So Drake basically told Top 5, your beef doesn't matter to me. Your loyalty doesn't mean I'll be loyal back. I'm gonna support whoever I want, whenever I want, and you just have to deal with it. Meanwhile, Drake told LeBron through his actions, your friendship doesn't matter. You attended one concert, and now we have a problem. You see the hypocrisy? Drake holds everyone else to standards he doesn't hold himself to. And eventually, that catches up to you. Eventually, people see through it. Eventually, someone calls you out on it. Top 5 calling them out just happens to be the most public, most dramatic, most nuclear way possible. And honestly, this is part of a bigger pattern we've been seeing with Drake. Throughout this entire Kendrick beef, Drake has been taking L after L, not just in the music, though Kendrick definitely won that, but in the aftermath and how things have played out culturally. Kendrick performed at the Super Bowl. Drake was mad about it, but it happened anyway. Kendrick sold out venues in Toronto, Drake's own city, and the shows were legendary. Fans were more hyped for Kendrick in Toronto than some of Drake's own shows there. The whole "they not like us" phrase became a cultural moment. You hear it at sporting events, you see it in memes, it's everywhere. And now Drake's own supporter just defected to the other side. Not quietly, not subtly, but in the most loud, messy, public way possible. Every time Drake tries to take control of the narrative, something happens that makes him look worse. He tried to make it about loyalty, and now he's getting exposed for being disloyal. He tried to make it about authenticity, and people are questioning how authentic his street connections really are. He tried to make it about his city, and his city keeps showing love to Kendrick. It's like the universe is just handing Drake L's at this point. And the crazy thing is, a lot of this is self-inflicted. Drake didn't have to make loyalty such a big deal. He didn't have to cut people off for attending concerts. He didn't have to post Pressa knowing it would upset Top 5. He didn't have to handle this beef the way he did. But he made choices, and now those choices are coming back around. The internet, of course, is having an absolute field day with this. Twitter is going crazy. People are making jokes about how OVO stands for Overly Vulnerable Organization now. There are memes comparing Top 5's loyalty arc to anime betrayals. Someone made a whole video editing Top 5 into the scene from Revenge of the Sith where Anakin turns to the dark side. Kendrick fans are celebrating, saying things like, even Drake's own shooters know what's up. There are jokes about how Kendrick is collecting Drake's team members like Infinity Stones. Drake fans are in shambles, trying to do damage control. Some are saying Top 5 was never really that close to Drake, that people are exaggerating their relationship. Others are saying Top 5 is clout chasing and desperate for attention now that Drake dropped him. But here's the thing, you can't rewrite history. We all saw Top 5 defending Drake for months. We all saw the videos. We all heard him threatening people on Drake's behalf. You can't pretend that relationship didn't exist just because it ended badly. And some people are actually sympathizing with Top 5, believe it or not. They're saying, you know what? Drake did him dirty. Drake used him for street cred and then disrespected him by posting his enemy. Top 5 had every right to crash out. Others are saying both of them are wrong, that Top 5 put too much of himself into being Drake's supporter, and Drake was wrong for how he handled the Pressa situation. Hip-hop media is covering this extensively. There are think pieces being written. Podcasts are dedicating full episodes to analyzing this. Everyone wants to know, is this the beginning of more people turning on Drake? Is Drake's reputation in Toronto damaged? Will this affect his music? And then there's the comedic side of it all. People are joking about how Drake's year has been nothing but L's. Drake in 2024 has become a punchline. Every time something happens, people say, and Drake takes another L. Someone made a bingo card of Drake L's and biggest supporters, which his sides was somehow on there. And people are going crazy about how predictable this was. The memes about Drake collecting L's like Pokemon cards, which even the original video mentioned, are everywhere. People are making Pokédex entries for each Drake L of the year. But underneath all the jokes and memes, there's a real conversation happening about loyalty, about authenticity, and about how celebrities treat the people who support them. So, where does this leave everyone involved? For Drake, this is another hit to his image at a time when he really can't afford it. He's already dealing with the perception that he lost the Kendrick beef, already dealing with the Super Bowl situation, already dealing with Kendrick's continued cultural dominance. Now he has to deal with the narrative that he's not loyal to his own people, that he's a hypocrite, that even his day ones are turning on him. For Top 5, this is a complete life change. He burned the biggest bridge he had. There's no coming back from posting Not Like Us after spending a year and a half defending Drake. That relationship is done. Now Top 5 has to figure out what his identity is without Drake. He made being Drake's guy his whole thing, and now he's Kendrick's supporter? That's a wild pivot. People are going to question his authenticity. They're going to wonder if he stands for anything or if he just goes wherever he thinks benefits him most. And he still has his beef with Pressa to deal with, which is now even more complicated because he can't use his Drake connection anymore. For Pressa, this is kind of a win by default. He got Drake's support, and in the process, Drake's biggest supporter crashed out and burned his own reputation. Pressa didn't even have to do anything. He just watched Top 5 self-destruct. For Kendrick, this is another W in a year full of them. He didn't ask for Drake's supporter to switch sides. He didn't orchestrate this, but it happened, and it makes him look even better. The narrative becomes Kendrick is so right about Drake that even Drake's own people can see it. And for everyone watching, this is a reminder that loyalty in the entertainment industry is complicated. It's transactional. It's conditional. It's rarely as deep as it seems from the outside. People support you when it benefits them. When that benefit goes away, or when you do something that makes them feel disrespected, that support can disappear instantly. But let's talk about the bigger picture here, because this situation reveals something about fame, the internet, and modern hip-hop culture. We're living in an era where everything is public. Every relationship, every beef, every betrayal. It all plays out on social media for millions of people to watch, comment on, and judge. Top 5's betrayal of Drake isn't just a private falling out between two people. It's a public spectacle. It's content. It's entertainment. It's meme material. And that changes the stakes of everything. When your relationships are public, when your loyalty is performed on Instagram and Twitter, when your beefs are fought through posts and stories, you're not just dealing with personal emotions anymore. You're dealing with reputation, with perception, with how millions of strangers view you. Drake built his image partially on loyalty. He made it a talking point. He made it part of his brand during this beef. So when someone like Top 5 turns on him publicly, it doesn't just hurt personally, it damages the brand. It contradicts the narrative Drake was trying to build. And for Top 5, going public with his betrayal was strategic. He knew that just being upset privately wouldn't accomplish anything. Drake would move on, nothing would change, but making it public, posting Kendrick, joining the other side in a visible way, that's how you make Drake feel the consequences of his actions. It's a power move. It says, you disrespected me, so I'm going to disrespect you in the most visible way possible. I'm going to take the thing you care about most, your reputation, your narrative control, and I'm going to damage it. This is the reality of modern celebrity culture. Everything is weaponized. Every relationship is content. Every betrayal is a headline. And the audience, us, we eat it up. We analyze it. We make memes. We take sides. We turn real people's real conflicts into entertainment. Here's what's really interesting about this whole situation. Drake's downfall is rooted in the very weapon he tried to use against others. He made loyalty the ultimate test. He made it the line in the sand. He made it clear that you're either with him or against him, no middle ground. But by creating such a strict loyalty test, he set himself up for failure. Because the stricter your standards for others, the more people watch to see if you meet those same standards yourself. Drake was so loud about loyalty that when he played both sides with Top 5 and Pressa, it looked 10 times worse than it would have if he'd never made loyalty his whole thing. He created the framework that people are now using to judge him. He built the cage he's now trapped in. And this is a lesson that goes beyond just Drake. When you hold other people to impossible standards, you better be ready to meet those standards yourself. When you make absolute statements about loyalty, authenticity, or any other value, you better be prepared for people to check if you actually live by those values. Because the internet doesn't forget. People will clip your old interviews. They'll screenshot your old tweets. They'll remember what you said and hold you accountable for it. Drake said loyalty matters above everything. So when he showed loyalty to Pressa, despite Top 5's beef, people saw it as the ultimate hypocrisy. They used Drake's own words and values against him. Look, at the end of the day, this situation is messy, complicated, and honestly kind of sad when you really think about it. You've got Top 5, who clearly put way too much of his identity into supporting someone who saw him as useful, but not irreplaceable. You've got Drake, who's so used to being the biggest star that he probably didn't even think about how his actions would affect someone he considered beneath him in the hierarchy. And you've got Pressa, who's just trying to drop music and got caught in the middle of all this chaos. Nobody wins here, really. Top 5 burned his biggest connection and now has to rebuild from scratch. Drake takes another L in a year that's been full of them. The whole situation just makes Toronto's hip-hop scene look more divided and messy. But this is hip-hop in 2024. This is what happens when everything is online, everything is public, and everyone's trying to go viral. Beefs don't stay between two people anymore. They become community events. They become content. They become memes. And everyone involved becomes a character in a story that millions of people are watching unfold. The craziest part? This story probably isn't even over yet. There are rumors that Top 5 did a whole interview with academics explaining his side of everything. Apparently, he went off in that interview, really breaking down why he felt betrayed and what Drake did wrong. If y'all want me to react to that interview, let me know in the comments, because from what I'm hearing, it gets even more intense than what we've seen so far. Drake hasn't publicly responded to Top 5's betrayal yet, as far as I know. What's he going to say? How's he going to handle this? Is he going to address it directly or just ignore it and hope it goes away? And what about Kendrick? Is he even paying attention to this, or is he just living his life while Drake's world continues to crumble around him? The internet is watching, hip-hop is watching, everyone's waiting to see what happens next in this absolutely wild saga. So drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Top 5 was justified in switching sides? Do you think Drake was wrong for posting Pressa? Who do you think is more in the wrong here? And honestly, bigger question, do you think this is going to start a trend where more people in Drake's circle start distancing themselves from him? Is this the beginning of a bigger shift in how people see Drake? Because let's keep it real, when your biggest supporter publicly turns on you and joins your rival's side, that sends a message to everyone else. It says maybe the loyalty isn't worth it. Maybe Drake isn't the untouchable figure everyone thought he was. Make sure you like this video if you found this whole situation as crazy as I did. Hit subscribe if you want to stay updated on all the latest hip-hop drama, because trust me, this story is far from over. More details are going to come out, more reactions are going to drop, and I'm going to be here covering every single twist and turn. Turn on post notifications so you don't miss when I drop that academics interview reaction, because apparently Top 5 says some wild stuff in that conversation that's going to add even more context to this whole situation. I appreciate every single one of you for rocking with me and letting me break down this insane story. The fact that we're watching loyalty get completely redefined in real time is crazy. The fact that Drake's own strategies are being used against him is poetic. The fact that this is all playing out publicly is just, it's 2024 hip-hop in a nutshell. Stay safe out there. Remember that loyalty is a two-way street, and don't put all your energy into supporting someone who might not have your back when it counts. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.